Today I'm involved with rebuilding and resealing the oil cooler filter adapter on my Chevrolet truck. The reason I'm doing this today is I'm swapping my 350 out of my K2500 Chevy and putting in a 383. So I need to take off my cooler adapter and clean it up and reseal it. And so with my oil pan gasket kit came the gaskets necessary to replace this. The only thing is, didn't come with the two sealing washers. And these are not in too bad a shape, but I don't take chances on anything when it comes to oil. I always get oil leaks, so I double seal everything and make sure everything's brand new. But these two washers here, they go under the bolts like so, and they bolt into the engine block through here. And it's kind of a secondary seal really, because you've got this gasket that goes on top. This actually seals it to the block, and it should prevent any oil from traveling down the holes and out through the bolt heads. But like I said before, I don't take chances on anything, so I'm going to put it back exactly the way the factory had it. Now I've worked on these before, and it seemed like that the gasket kit that came to replace that came with those washers, but this time they didn't. And so I started to do a little research, and none of the gaskets that I found to reseal this thing came with those washers. So I ended up going to a forum online, and another guy was talking about the same thing and doing the same thing I'm doing here. And he said if you buy the bolts, it comes with the washers. Well, it comes in a package of two. That's the GM part number 12553513. And indeed it does come with two bolts and the two new sealing washers. So I'm going to be using these two new bolts with the two gaskets and resealing my adapter onto my new engine. I already picked up a new filter, PH 3980. That's used on most of the four-wheel drive trucks, and if you have the cooler, engine oil cooler, because your differential sits down here near the filter, you're going to have to use the 3980, which sits at a 90-degree angle to the engine block and makes clearance for it. And so I've taken this thing out, cleaned it, and checked it out, and everything seems to be good with it. Bought two new connectors. You can get these at Summit Racing. You can also get them at Napa. When I took my oil lines out, I broke the plastic keepers in here, so I just went ahead and bought two brand new ones. Added some sealer onto the threads and screwed them into the housing. And I also checked to make sure that the pressure bypasses were still functional, which they were. There's two of them in this adapter here. You'll see one here. This bypass here is if the filter becomes blocked, it'll bypass oil to the cooler. And then also below the mounting adapter for the oil filter, you can see it through here. There's a second one here, and this one is in case the oil cooler becomes blocked, so that oil will bypass the cooler and the filter if necessary and return it to the engine. And so it cleaned up nicely, and there's no cracks or anything with it, and it wasn't leaking before. I have had to replace these seals once before. My truck's 23 going on 24 years old, so I've replaced the seals in this thing once before for leaking, and also my oil cooling lines also leaked. So I thought I'd share that part number with you. If you're concerned about using the sealing washers down here at the bottom, you'll need a package of two. I got them from a GM wholesaler. Part number there comes with two bolts and the two sealing washers. I want to say I remember getting those washers once before with the sealing reseal kit that came with the gaskets, but I don't see that anymore, so I bought them separate. So just thought I'd share that with you. Thanks for watching.